Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Lesson 2 Chinese culture, and today we'll be talking about eating comes first, different food habits of people coming from different regions of China. Again, there are certain reminders before we begin the lesson. I want all students to have the student handbook ready this time. Keep your GS handbook. If you don't have, you can have your notebook ready. And textbook, workbook is optional, as again, many students may not have it with them. But if you have them, it's excellent. You can refer to those pages. Have your stationery pencil eraser ready with you, and again maintain a good distance from your PC and use headphones if you cannot hear clearly. Okay, so I give you 1 minute to get everything with you, besides you, so that we can have the lesson running smoothly. We'll start with the schedule of the day. That is, first we have news sharing, then by base learning, where the teacher will introduce the content of what we are doing today. Then we'll look at eating habits in different parts of China, followed by how different climate affect the food grown in that region, and which in turn affects our eating habit. Then in the end, we have conclusion, where we have questions for you to think. And then in the end, we have homework, which is you can cook. Now for homework, you can cook a simple Chinese dish or meal, okay? Or you can make a video of your mother or anyone preparing meal. It can be a Chinese meal or any nationality food at home, okay? And I want you to record the video and share it with us. To learn more about different food eating habits of Chinese people in different regions, it's very important for us to learn about the climate conditions in that particular region. Say, for example, here, look at the pictures. The pictures tell us what kind of landform these are, right? You can see the snow-capped mountains. You can hardly see any vegetation here. We can say that these are the highlands of Tibet. Now, once we look at the pictures, we can tell that the weather is very dry and cold. Most of the time, it's very, very cold, and it's a very dry region. That means it has a very, very, very low rainfall. So, very few plants can grow here because there's hardly any rain, and very few crops can sustain such kind of harsh weather conditions. Now here, if you look at the picture in the bottom, you see lots of yaks here. Now that's the main animal here, which is used as a means of transport, and also it provides a lot of food. Say, for example, the yak milk, it gives yak milk, and from the yak milk they make butter, they make cheese, and they make other food items related to yak milk. So this is a very good source of food in that region, and it also supplies them with a very high level of protein. Now, if you see the picture on the top, you see a goat or mutton, which is a source of meat, because it's very important for them to have meat in that region, as there are not many plants and vegetables available for them to eat. And even these are as like very harsh conditions, very few animals can survive in this region. So this goat, it's also used for sheep, wool. It can survive in that region, and also they can they use this goat as a source of meat. Look at this picture. It's the grasslands of Mongolia, and you look at the type of housing. We all know what type of housing this is. It's called the yurt, and Mongols live here. Now this is a grassland. Grassland is a little lower level than the highlands. And here the weather again, like it's a very unpredictable. It is cold, very less rainfall. You can tell because you can hardly see a tree or any vegetation. All the vegetation grow very close to the grass, and that's why they are called grasslands. And it has a very rugged relief. Rugged relief means not very smooth. Here, as I said before, it's got extreme continental climate. That means it could just snow anytime. It could rain, not rain, but it could like have those very cold winds and very dry weather. So here, now, for livelihood, they have a lot of cattle farming. They have a living stock. If you look at the picture right at the back, you can see two yurts, one in the front and one at the back. And behind the yurt, you can see lots of animals in the picture. So they have to have lots of animals and cattle for living because again, it gives them milk. It gives them, from milk, they can make butter, they can make cheese, and they can make the tea, coffee, and they can make their other food products. And also they can use them as a source of meat. Right? So they have meat, dairy products, and animal fats. These are the main basic diet of the people living in grassland Mongolia. Here in this slide, you can see Loess Plateau, and Loess Plateau is again a little bit lower region than the grasslands. And from the picture, you can see it's a very arid, very like there's nothing here, you know. It's hardly there is any vegetation here. Could be the reason that because it's extremely cold in winter and hot in summer, it's got extreme weather conditions, and this hilly area, it's lacking of water. Could be there is hardly any rainfall and there is no water, and it's very difficult to sustain any vegetation here or grow anything here. Now, again, the ground is covered with a thick layer of yellow soil, which you can see, and the soil is infertile. That means you cannot grow anything. It doesn't have the nutrients that the plant needs to grow. Right, so here in this Loess Plateau, you can see in the map here, you can see the circle highlighted, and it's right in the center. This is the picture of Pearl River Delta, and by looking at the picture itself, you can tell from the landform that this land has to be very, very rich in all the vegetation, in different kinds of fruits and vegetables, in crops. But as you can see, there's a lot of water. You can see the rivers flowing through, a lot of green patchy fields, you know, where there's a lot of farming. You can see there's a lot of fish in the basket. That means these are like very prosperous places where there is a lot of farming. Here the climate is moderate. That means it's like it's very suitable, not too cold, not too hot. And the area is mainly flat. It's not a hilly region or a rugged plain which can make it farming impossible or difficult. But here is mainly flat land with a lot of water. Both things you need to do if you want to do farming. So because of this, you can have a lot of rice and vegetables growing in this region, and you also have a lot of seafood and meat. So people coming from or people who are near Pearl River Delta, they eat a lot of rice, vegetables, and of course seafood. Now look at this picture. It tells us what is the climatic regions of China. On your left, we have the map of China with different colors, and on the right, there is a small box which gives us what each color indicates. That means if you look at the topmost northeastern, if you see, it's called subarctic, and by the word Arctic, we all know that it's going to be very, very wintry. So it has very short summer and it has severe winter, right? Nothing much can grow there. Now look at the bottom in the south, you have a green patch which is like humid subtropical and tropical wet. That means it has long warm summers with heavy rain, short mild winters with lighter rainfall. Very ideal for farming, irrigation. And if you look at the west, Lhasa. You see the highlands, okay? The climates vary with altitude and exposure. That means as you go higher in that region, you'll have different climates depending the altitude that you are in. So here, this different colors tell us what is the climatic condition in different regions of China. And based on this climates, the cultivation is done, and it is one of the reasons why people from different parts of China, they eat different things. Here we'll see how climate affects the crop cultivation in China. Let's look at climate in the south. Now, the climate in the south, we should all know it's warm and more humid. It's kind of stable, moderate, and it's it's the best ideal climate for growing rice and vegetables, as these two, the cultivations, they require flat land, they require water, and they require a moderate climate. So, and this is near to the Pearl River Delta and the Three Rivers, and so this place is ideal for rice and vegetables. So people coming from the south of China, their main staple food will be rice and lots of vegetables and seafood. Let's look at climate in the north. We know the north region is cold and dry. So here wheat is the main crop that's cultivated. Now look at here crops produced in different regions of China. We have seen the map before, and you can see those three rivers, Yellow River, Yangtze, and the Pearl River Delta. You can see wheat is grown in the northern side, wheat and soybeans, and here in the delta region you can see a lot of rice, vegetables, and fruits and vegetables, and rice and tea is grown in this region. What province do you belong to? Talk about the eating habits of your family. How are these habits related to the province you belong to? Are you eating the same like everyone else, or do you eat something different? Because Mrs. Desai, sure, she has a different eating habit. Her food is very different to what we eat here in Hong Kong. Now here, look at all these pictures on the screen. You see a lot of food here on the picture. Now you should be able to tell us that what do people coming from the north of China eat as compared to people from the south of China? And what do people coming from India eat? Or what do people coming from the UK, what is their main staple food? Or what do people coming from any other country, right? Because our eating habits depend on the place that we come from. Sharing session. What's your nationality? Do you know the special local food in your country? Do you know why people in your country usually eat these things? Now, you can cook is your homework. You can cook a simple Chinese dish or meal, or make a video of your mother or anyone preparing a Chinese meal or your nationality food at home. I want you to video record it and, as usual, upload the video. You are the chef. After looking at all the slides, we can conclude that people have different eating habits depending where they're coming from. So people from the north and the south have different favorites in eating. We know why. And our eating habits are mainly affected from where we come from.